parle pas comme Dino. Ah, excuse me. Marcus. Nein. Marcus.
Before then, a bearded man takes his niece to the bicycle shop. The seller brings out a red bicycle, but the girl says she'd rather have a blue one, even though she'll have to wait. The old man tells her there is no certainty in life, and while the seller makes a call, the old man and girl walk away. Some men get out of a van and steal a blue bicycle that's chained by the walkway. Matilda and her mom struggle to get the car started, and just then Marcus calls to say he won't be coming home because his superiors have ordered him to stay longer. Both mother and daughter are disappointed by the news. With the car still refusing to start, they decide to take the train instead. Otto and Leonard present their new algorithm to the board, designed to analyze people's past events. The executives question how it could benefit the company. He argues that nothing on Earth is a coincidence. Understanding past events can help predict the future and even prevent negative outcomes. Skeptical, the executives press for more details. Leonard tries to take control of the presentation but quickly goes off track, and even when Otto attempts to steer it back, it's too late. In the end, the executives reject their ideas. He's on the train when Matilda and her mom board. He offers the woman his seat, and after initially declining, she accepts. As she smiles at her daughter, there's a loud noise, and an explosion rocks the train. Those sitting suffer heavy impact, while those standing, including Otto and Matilda, fare better. He regains consciousness to find the girl calling for her mom. The soldier is back from the day's task, but when he sees a man walking towards him, his expression changes. At the hospital, Otto is still in shock. He makes his way out after seeing the girl being comforted by someone, but he can't speak. At home, the train incident is all over the news. His attention sharpens when the report states that Johan, a gang member and his lawyer, were killed in the crash. They had been scheduled to testify against Kurt, the leader of Johan's former gang, the Riders of Justice. The crew is on trial for murdering 4 Turkish men. Marcus returns and goes to the hospital to comfort his daughter. He wants to see his wife's body. Despite the doctor's advice against it, he insists. When he sees her, he's nearly brought to tears. Otto goes to the police station with his theory. Given his background in statistics, he believes the incident wasn't an accident but a deliberate attack targeting Johan. The officers don't buy it and try to dismiss him. He explains that a suspicious man boarded the train with an expensive meal, took one bite, threw it away, and got off before departure. The officers don't see the connection, but Otto insists it's too strange to be random. His reasoning sounds flawless if you ignore the part where it's built entirely on one man wasting his lunch. At home, Matilda tells her dad she's going to school. He's replacing a fuel filter that doesn't even belong in that kind of engine. Fitting, since nothing in his life seems to run the way it should anymore. He suggests she go for a run if she's tired of staying home, but she refuses. He asks if she even went running while he was away, and she says no. After some back and forth, she walks off, cursing at him and ignoring his offer to drive her. Otto meets with his friend and shares his theory about the train accident. He asks the guy to hack into a website to get information about Johan that will prove his point. The friend rambles about how he's already hacked into the website multiple times. After the funeral, the priest hints the train crash was probably no accident. That night, Matilda asks her dad if God took her mom. Marcus scoffs, calling the priest's words bunk and God a fairy tale. Like Santa, he says his devout dad wasn't bright, dismisses Matilda's angel talk as nuts, and tells her to toughen up as life's full of loss. That same night, Otto and Leonard arrive at Marcus's house, still pushing their theory. Marcus immediately asks how they got his address, but they keep talking about the incident until he lets them into the barn. Otto presents evidence that Johan had OCD and always sat in the same spot on the train. They show pictures of the suspicious man who threw away his meal and got off at the very station the wife entered. They also bring proof that the man was at the freight station where the train that ran into theirs took off from. Marcus asks if they've shared this with the police. They have, but the police dismiss dismiss them, suggesting they're just opportunists with overactive imaginations. Otto and Leonard believe the man who got off the train is key to solving the case. Even though they're having problems with their facial recognition expert, they promise to do their best and leave. Father and daughter visit the clinic where they're counseled about the stages of grief and offered therapy, either joint or individual. Even though the girl wants it, her father rejects the offer, saying they're just trying to get their lives back on track without outside help. Marcus paces, stress spiking as Matilda ignores his calls. When she finally rolls up, lingering outside with her boyfriend, he storms out, hollering about her late hour and silence. Matilda retorts they'd agreed on 11 p.m., but unmoved, he keeps shouting, ordering her inside. Her boyfriend snaps back, telling him to ease up, which sets Marcus off. He slaps the boy, sending him sprawling. Matilda screams at her dad, bolting inside, while the boyfriend scrambles up and peels out on his bike. Marcus jiggles the handle of Matilda's room, but it's locked tight. He calls through the door, asking if that was her lover out there. Matilda fires back, blaming him for being a ghost in her life, clueless about her world. She refuses to open up. Defeated, Marcus shuffles off. Alone, Matilda turns to her wall, a web of notes and clues about the train incident, and pins up fresh details. The men show up at Emmenthaler's residence with a box of pizza, begging him to let them in. He starts the facial recognition search and finds a high probability match in Egypt. But Leonard insists it's wrong and makes him search again. This causes an argument until Otto calms them down. The expert runs the search again, this time focusing only on Denmark residents. Even though this match doesn't reach the 99% threshold of the previous one, the statistician confirms they've found their man because he remembers him from the train. It's morning, and Matilda is still upset with her father about the previous night. He's made an omelet, not realizing she doesn't like omelets. He says he's willing to apologize to the boy over dinner. The three men arrive at Marcus's house, asking to talk in the barn, which Leonard finds intriguing. They present their findings. The suspect's name is Palla. He's a train technician and the brother of the Riders of Justice president.
Du bare lukker røven lige nu. Ah, skud med.
Skud af dig, siger jeg til dig!
Markus. Nej. Markus.
After the murder, Leonard grabs a chemical and gloves and doesn't think to immediately wipe where he's just pulled them out from. He then finds a naked man tied to a chair with a gag in his mouth, but he ignores the man. Marcus returns home to find Matilda and her boyfriend cooking. He immediately apologizes to the boy with a handshake. They sit down to eat, and the teenagers discuss how people handle life crises differently depending on their professions, suggesting Marcus might benefit from professional help. When Sirius mentions this, Marcus glares at him, silencing the boy instantly. Matilda picks up the conversation where Sirius left off, but Marcus insists he can't focus on therapy right now. Hurt, she gets up crying and goes to her room. That night, he watches the news. 2 gang members have been sentenced to prison, while the president and his right-hand man have been freed since Johan is dead and unable to testify. Reporters ask why the president is celebrating despite his brother's death. He says his brother would have wanted this if he were alive. Marcus gathers the experts and asks them to find everything they can on the gang members and their families. It's clear he wants to kill them all. Otto objects, saying it's unnecessary. But the others point out they've had their own revenge plan to steal money from the gang's accounts, which is similar to Marcus's plan. The soldier is firm. Get him the information and let him handle the rest. As they're leaving, Matilda returns from school. Otto, who was on the train, can't bear to see her, so he goes back inside and hides. She meets the other men, and after introductions, Leonard says they're there on Otto's behalf because he feels guilty for giving her mother the seat where she died. Matilda assumes they're psychologists and they play along, offering her a therapy session. The father is concerned, but Emmenthaler assures him that Leonard is brilliant and has met many professionals in the field, so he can do a good job. He sits down with Matilda, and as they talk, she admits that she hardly feels emotions, especially about other people's problems. She worries she's becoming like her father, violent and indifferent to others, and fears she might have children who behave the same way. Otto reassures her that it doesn't always work that way, citing statistics to support his point. He encourages her to focus on the positives in her life and asks thoughtful questions to guide her reflections. After hearing her answers, Otto concludes that she strongly resembles her father and harbors a fear of being overweight. though she won't admit it. He explains that emotions are triggered by stimulation or surprise, but she's experienced so much that she's become numb to certain kinds of sadness. She feels a sense of relief until Leonard delivers a blunt assessment. She is overweight. Her expression changes instantly. Kurt goes to the warehouse where the man from his brother's house is being held captive. He forces him to describe what happened when his brother was killed. The man only saw someone and heard a name. After he mispronounces it, a gang member figures out the actual name.
Emmentaler.
Later, everyone has settled into the house, though Emmentaler keeps getting upset over small things and lashing out. Inside, Leonard is building Matilda's body confidence in an unconventional way, feeding her Coke while she hangs upside down and making her eat ice cream. Her father wants them to stop, but Leonard encourages her to stand up to her father, telling him this isn't the military where he can just give orders. Otto backs her up and Emmentaler enters, complaining about being given too small a computer. This causes friction between the friends, but they eventually decide to retrieve the hacker's proper equipment from his apartment. As they leave, the daughter notices her father's acting strangely, but her boyfriend thinks it's fine since he's at least talking and socializing. On the drive, Otto scolds Marcus, insisting he get help, but Marcus refuses and warns him to stop. He keeps talking, and even after the soldier threatens him, he says one more thing, the last straw. Marcus slams on the brakes to confront him, but Leonard bolts into a nearby field. When he realizes he's being chased, he takes off his pants and begs for forgiveness. At Emmentaler's house, gang members spot them and open fire. Marcus takes cover as bullets spray across the street. He rushes towards the guy with a gun in the same lane with him, disarms him, and puts a bullet in him, shoots the driver next to him and the one across the street. 2 shots each, then moves to the other side, taking out the remaining members without missing once. Only Boyka is left. Leonard rushes over, pleading with Marcus not to shoot him, even though Boyka has witnessed everything, begging the boy be taken with them instead. On the way back, Otto can't look at Marcus after what just happened. Leonard makes the captive comfortable, loosening his restraints and promising he'll stay alive. Marcus takes Boyka's phone and throws it away before they reach the barn. The hacker, who now has to work with a smaller computer, refuses to proceed unless they're all given weapons and taught self-defense. The soldier agrees. At the dinner table, everyone talks about the new addition while Marcus steps away. Boyka shares strange work stories, including one about a colleague who was abandoned by a client. After some lighthearted conversation, everyone goes to bed. Boyka propositions Leonard, but he declines. Moments later, Boyka thanks him for saving his life and for rejecting his offer. While the other men sleep, the grieving father watches over his sleeping daughter. It's morning, and Boyka is doing chores when Matilda walks in looking for her dad, so he tells her he's at the barn. Boyka offers to help her mend her clothes, gives her his necklace, and hands her lunch before telling her how beautiful she is. Her face lights up as she leaves for school. At the barn, the men brainstorm the best way to take out Kurt and his gang. While everyone is fine with a brutal assault, Otto wants them to take a gentler approach that won't cause a major incident. The hacker doesn't care, casually reminding the soldier that he owes them weapons training and self-defense lessons. Marcus begins training them, starting with rifle assembly. Emmentaler finishes in record time, drawing surprise from Marcus, so he does it again at the man's request. Otto barely tries, while Leonard fumbles through the process, growing frustrated and asking why they even need to assemble a gun in the first place. When it's time for target practice, Emmentaler fires like a man born for combat, unloading an entire clip with alarming enthusiasm. At the gang's headquarters, one member suggests staking out for Boyka, but their leader calls it stupid and orders them to go after Otto instead, the hacker's friend with the bat arm. Meanwhile, Boyka teaches Matilda chess, and she later asks her boyfriend to take a photo of them together. Not long after, Emmentaler tracks down Kurt's location and offers to join Marcus for the attack. Minutes later, after he yells at his daughter, they're in the car, and Otto won't stop lecturing him about it. Marcus warns him once, twice, then finally punches him mid-sentence, knocking him out cold before calmly pulling over to leave him unconscious on the side of the road. As they continue, the others talk about Otto's past tragedies, how he lost his daughter, and why he gets triggered when he sees a disconnect between Marcus and Matilda. They arrive at the restaurant, and as they prepare to get out, leaving Leonard behind, they see women in the group, so they wait until the ladies leave. They approach the men's car as it's already moving and open fire on it, killing many. Emmentaler comes face to face with an enemy but freezes and can't pull the trigger, alerting the soldier who comes over and finishes the job. On the drive back, Emmenthaler, eyes wet, chokes out an apology for his cowardice, vowing never to join in such violence again. Marcus shrugs it off, urging they focus on what they can do for the cause. Leonard, foggy on what cause even means, wonders if the men they just killed truly caused his wife's death. Marcus snaps, shouting that they're all guilty and must pay. They swing by to grab Otto. Meanwhile, Noah's daughter, recalling the gang's hunt for Otto, spots him on Sirius's social media and flags it for them. Back home, Matilda clocks Otto's bruised face and instantly pins it on her dad. Fuming, she storms to her room. Otto trails her, trying to soften her view of Marcus. He spots her wall, a mosaic of notes tracing the train incident. Impressed but skeptical, he tells her the events pinned up are likely standalone, meaningless to her mom's death. At the barn, Boyka recounts his grim past, sold with his siblings, his master profiting by renting. He mentions arriving in the country just before they killed his master. Leonard catches a glitch in Boyka's story, runs facial recognition again, and discovers the man they killed closely resembles their target. They tell Marcus, who's gutted, realizing he may have snuffed out an innocent life. Otto apologizes sincerely, but the soldier feels terrible, storming into the main house and vomiting in the sink. In anger, he head-butts the mirror and punches it, before pulling down the shelf and making a mess in the bathroom. Moments later, the noise stops and the statistician enters to find him on the floor, visibly shaken. He encourages Marcus and helps him up. In the house, Boyka spins tangled, nonsensical stories. While out in the barn, Otto confronts Marcus. He confesses he only helped because he gave his wife the fatal train seat. Otto pleads with him to accept her death and seek help for Matilda's sake. Marcus cuts in, muttering, maybe she shouldn't have been born. Otto calls him a deadbeat dad, and Marcus, voice cracking, owns it, admitting he's been absent, failing to bond with her. Otto, blunt, says he can't fix his own mess, but pushes Marcus to know his daughter, to stop wallowing in selfish grief. Tears stream as he demands better. Before parting, they swap apologies for past rudeness. At Sirius's place, Kurt and his crew storm in, snatching the boy. They demand to know where he filmed Otto. The kid spills immediately, but Kurt, unhinged, snaps a finger anyway, breaking another each time the boy does or says anything Kurt dislikes. Back at the house, everyone but Marcus sits at the dining table when gunfire erupts, bullets tearing through. He yanks Matilda to the floor, kills the lights, and whispers for her to run to her room when the shooting pauses. A bullet rips into his stomach, and Otto takes a hit too. Leonard scrambles for weapons, and as Marcus staggers toward him, another volley explodes, a bullet slamming into his leg. He falls down, crawling all the way. The gang breaches the building, and Marcus positions himself behind a door, steady and silent. When the first man enters, he disarms him, grabs his gun, and shoots the enemy at the door before finishing the former with a clean headshot. Another intruder heads toward the girls' room, but he spots movement in the hall and fires, taking down the man before he can reach his team. He advances methodically, every shot deliberate, until he reaches his daughter's door, but it's empty. Then a voice calls from outside and orders him to surrender. Stepping out, he sees a crowd of armed men with Matilda and her boyfriend forced to their knees. He drops his weapon and kneels as commanded. The leader raises his gun ready to execute him, but before he can fire, Emmenthaler and the rest of the men inside burst out, guns blazing. Chaos erupts. Marcus grabs his weapon and joins in, cutting through the gang until only silence remains. Matilda is hit in the shoulder. As Kurt demands to know why they were attacked, he says nothing and shoots him in the head. Then he rushes to his daughter, lifting her up and holding her close. His strength falters, so he leans against a tree, checks her wound, and quietly admits he really does need help. It's Christmas Eve, and everyone who fought beside him gathers in the living room exchanging gifts. Marcus and Matilda hand Emmenthaler a wrapped box. Inside is a French horn. It's been years since he's played, and his first notes stumble. Leonard mocks him instantly, but Otto gently steps in, telling him exactly what he needs to hear. Emmenthaler steadies himself and begins again, playing beautifully, just as he once promised he could. Later, a red bicycle sits in Matilda's room. Somewhere else, the old man who once promised his niece a bike leads her outside, where a blue one waits, just like she asked for. She climbs on and rides away, and for a moment, the world feels balanced again.